Callum. I work at the Forest Products Research Institute at Edinburgh University, and I work with wood, which is very interesting. You can make all sorts of things out of wood. You can make paper out of wood, and paper is very useful stuff. The Egyptians, this is the one and only Egyptian reference you're going to get from me, they invented something called papyrus, and that lady there does not have an authentic piece of papyrus because she was able to fold it. Now, papyrus is made from reeds, which grew by the banks of the Nile, and they used to get the leaves of these reeds and press them together, and then use stones to give you a smooth surface. And it worked quite well. The fibres would stick together, but the trouble is it made really, really shit toilet paper. And so they invented writing. The first thing they did, the first piece of papyrus was invented, and the first bit of writing was squiggle, jackal, owl, squiggle, squiggle, water, and that means please wash your hands, please. And so, they just wrote on stuff. So the Chinese, surprisingly enough, who invented paper. It was 100 AD, I think it was a Thursday. And but the clever though the Chinese are, because they've invented pretty much everything before we did, they didn't realise you could use it for wiping your bum until 600 AD, so that's 500 years wasted. So in those days, I mean, things are quite primitive. There's only one type of toilet paper, but now we have huge amounts of choice. If you go on the Andrex website, which I did to do obviously the in-depth research for my set tonight, once you've waded through the puppies, you get some information, and it tells you that Andrex has many, many different kinds of toilet paper to meet all your needs, which, well, I kind of thought there was only one need. But I don't know what that's about. So, yeah, there's different types of toilet paper, and you can get really nice, soft toilet paper, and it says that this is if you indulge yourself, so you get indulgent toilet paper, it's nice and soft. And that's made from what we call virgin fibre, so that actually comes from the trees in the forest, and don't worry, for every tree that gets chopped down, 5 get planted. So it is actually produced sustainably, and that's true. But, yeah, it makes very nice soft toilet paper, it's very comfortable, and so you do feel indulged once you so I do that to cheer myself up. Nearly every bloody day of the week these days. But obviously there are impacts, and I'm very concerned with sustainability issues, and I'm going to be talking about tissues and sustainability. And so you can have soft toilet paper that's made from virgin fibre, and that has a carbon footprint of about 1.8 grams of embodied carbon dioxide per sheet of paper. If you use recycled fibre, that's 1.1 grams. So we can do a calculation, and I don't know how many of you go to the laboratory. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand, but my guess is pretty much more than 90%. And I guess if you do, if you go to have number 2, then that's going to require you wiping. And it's around about, my calculation is 5 sheets per wipe and 5 wipes, so that's 25 sheets per sitting. So we can now do, that's called a life cycle inventory. We've got the impact, the life cycle impact, like when we multiply one by the other, we multiply. If we use recycled fibre, it's 25 times 1.1, around about 27 grams of carbon dioxide is released to the atmosphere. Because you've used that toilet paper, that's carbon dioxide that's used to produce the paper, transport it, put the wrapper in, that sort of thing. And if you do that calculation, you want to know what kind of effect that has on the environment. Well, that's roughly something in the order of about 130 Google searches. Now, if you use the soft stuff, which I do, because it's all I've got really, that works at about 225 Google searches. So because of the research that I've done today for this set, I might actually go to the laboratory. So that's the impact from the paper, that's the embodied carbon dioxide. But there are other impacts as well, of course. If you're sitting on top and you let go of a fart, then that is also going to lead to an impact. Farts do contain carbon dioxide. About 20% of the fart by volume is, I know you were thinking, does it mean by mass or by volume? By volume, you can see, and 20% by volume, and we usually, on average, we're supposed to let go of about half a litre of fart gas a day, which to me it doesn't sound like very much, but anyway, that's what they say. So if you do that calculation, one fart, if you're a carbon dioxide farter, is 1.5 Google searches. However, 1/3 of you, and I don't know where you are, you fart methane as well. And you can tell whether you fart methane or not if you set light to your fart. It will burn burn with a blue flame. It's about a third of the population, and people that burn with a blue flame, or farts do, they are known as members of the Royal Order of the Blue Flame. You can join. I don't know what you have to do to prove it. I can imagine what you have to do. But it's a yellow flame otherwise. So this is something maybe you can try. What you could do is, if both your parents are methane emitters, you'll find that you have 95% probability of also being a methane emitter. So when you go home at Christmas and after the Christmas dinner, with party games, well, let's study the heritability of farting. That would be interesting. I didn't really want to talk about that. So if you emit methane's a more powerful greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. It's about 40 times more powerful, depending how you calculate it, about 40. So if you fart methane, and it's about maybe 20% methane in a fart, half a litre, it turns into about 8 Google searches that's equivalent to. So that's something that you might find useful. The kind of bugs that produce fart gas, they live inside of us, they live in an anaerobic environment, they don't like oxygen, and they used to inhabit the Earth. Before photosynthesis really took off and oxygen started sort of becoming a much greater composition of the atmosphere, we had a reducing atmosphere. And these bugs weren't just producing compounds like methane, but they were also producing small amounts of these noxious gases that we associate with farts, like methyl mercaptans, carbon disulfide, hydrogen sulfide, that sort of thing. So that meant the early Earth, the primordial atmosphere of the Earth, smelled of farts. And if you want to get that kind of experience now, I recommend that you travel on the Virgin West Coast main line. Exactly the same. Thank you very much.
Is one of them comfort. The word printed on mine is expressive. That is 100% true. I buy my toilet paper from Iceland, so if anyone wants to check, you can do so.